The bottom six, however, stole the show at Bell Center last night in Montreal. The Penguins scored 14 goals on their 3-game road trip over the weekend. 4 of those goals coming exclusively from the bottom six, and the Penguins now this season are 2-0 when the bottom six registers at least 1 goal. Horwat, do you think this is sustainable for the Penguins' newfound bottom six?
One sure hopes.
Yeah.
It's tough to say if it's sustainable this early because, I mean, the way you mentioned the Iron Penguin guys, healthy scratches, it's still an experimental phase, it feels like. I mean, we're still yet to see Blake Lizotte get into the lineup. We're still yet to see what Anthony Beauvillier actually looks like in a bottom six role, if that's where he is destined to go eventually. So I don't know if it's sustainable, but it is definitely successful to start the year and is definitely proving to be a needed commodity, considering when they score, they win. Who could have figured that? Who could have thunk it? It'll be fascinating, actually. I'm really interested to see how it can progress and continue getting better. I don't know if I have really too much to say about it other than this is what the Penguins have needed. Bottom six that can score a little bit and contribute. It's going to be big for them going forward. I mean, Lars Eller took that game over at one point yesterday too, last night. It's without doubt. I mean, Crosby wasn't playing his best stuff. He still hasn't been explosive yet this year, but having someone like Lars Eller that he led the bottom six in scoring last year. It wasn't a high hill to climb, but he did. Mm-hmm. And seeing him take a game over, you need guys that can do that in your bottom six. That's just what you need. On days where, I mean, Malkin's been great all season so far, but on days where, let's say Malkin has an off night and, Crosby happens to also have another off night, you're going to need your bottom six to do something. It's what the Penguins thrived on in 15, 16, and 17. That's why they were so successful. That's why they were so good, is because they had a third line and sometimes a fourth line that can chip in and help. Mm-hmm. And that will be the key for them going forward. I don't know if it's sustainable yet because it still kind of needs to solidify, but it's molding in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm not going to go as far as to say it's going to be an unmitigated success all season, but do I think that what I'm seeing so far is sustainable? Yeah, because I think they've gotten contributions from everywhere. Last night, it was Lars Eller. All the games that Jesse Puljujärvi has played in, he has been noticeably a very good piece for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't think Drew O'Connor has played his best hockey. He's down in that unit right now, so I think there's more to come from him. And I think that you also have good players that haven't really gotten a lot of opportunities or are sitting right now. I mean, Rutger McGroarty, we all expect to continue to grow. Valtteri Puustinen has yet to play a regular season game, AHL or NHL this season. I would expect that he has a good year coming up. And then you have those young guys in the minors that you're expecting big things from, guys like Ville Koivunen and Vasily Ponomarev whenever he comes back from the injury. So these are all players. I mean, you can toss in Avery Hayes. I think already has 2 goals in 2 games down at the AHL level. He's a name that you could potentially see coming up and making an impact at certain points, but it's not as much those guys because I think there's a lot of talent there and I think they're deep when it comes to options. So if somebody falls off, there's going to be somebody else kind of chomping at their heels to get in the lineup and get some minutes. I think it's the pillars, the people that aren't going to be taken out of the lineup that have been playing very well. I've liked what I've seen from Kevin Hayes, and it's not like, well, his legs are going to go. His legs aren't there. I mean, he is not fleet of foot. That is not anything that we have ever had to worry about. But he makes the right decisions. He makes smart plays with the puck, and he's been finishing. And I think that that's something that you could see potentially continuing. Noel Acciari, if he can stay healthy, he looks night and day different than he did last year. He's still doing all the things that he did right, but he's also making better plays in the offensive zone. He's also playing a bit more physical. I mean, he had this Subway sandwich of the game. I'm going to call it that. I don't care what Edgar Snyder says. It's the Subway sandwich of the game. He wrecked a dude yesterday. And I just love the way that bottom six is playing. And you mentioned Lars Eller. I mean, he had himself a night, and all of the speculation, sorry, Lars, it's on me. All of the speculation of, well, he's on the last year of his contract. He's probably one of the most tradable assets the Penguins have. Maybe they trade him before the season, or the more serious conversation that we had, the more kind of nuts and bolts in the lineup conversation we had. Oh, he's better off as a 4th line center. So far, and I'm take out yesterday's game because I understand coming off the heels of a 2-goal game, it's easy to make these statements, but take out yesterday's game. I think he's played very well with the puck delineating where it goes, running the offensive zone whenever he's on the ice. I thought he set up McGroarty on several opportunities throughout the first handful of games. I thought he has played well and played well off of Jesse Puljujärvi. Lars Eller has just gotten off to a really good start to the season, and it might be, carry over from that Olympic qualifier where he led his home country as captain, scored the winning goal that got them into the Olympics for 2026. He might just be feeding off of that energy and off of that excitement, but it's working really well for the Penguins. And there still might be some speculation that, hey, listen, if the Penguins team-wise goes south this year, Lars Eller's a guy that is probably on the chopping block simply because of his value when it comes to his 200-foot game, but he's certainly had himself a good start to the season and had himself a terrific night in Montreal.
Great start to the year. Yeah, it's that speculation won't go away, win or lose, I feel like, because in my head, I always start rolling through, whenever we start thinking or talking about trades, I start thinking of hockey trades. All right, who's a good player on this team that can be dealt out for another good player? Maybe the change of scenery stuff. I mean, it's the way I thought of Rickard Rakell all of last year. Might be the way I look at Lars Eller this year. Just, you're right, the most movable asset the Penguins have right now.
Yeah.
Sure, he's a little older, but final year of his deal for 20, 30 some games. Well, how many teams are going to take his age into consideration, really, especially if he's performing at a good enough level to fit into someone's bottom six?
Mm-hmm.
So, I wouldn't let that speculation go away because, hockey trades are always possible. And if you look at just the amount of centers the Penguins have, the entire fourth line can play center. If you want to move one of them up to fill that role, go for it. You have multiple centers in the AHL that can reasonably handle the NHL schedule. That includes, you mentioned Panamara. There's also Sam Poulin. If you wanted to give Jonathan Gruden a long look, you could. There's plenty of names that the Penguins can fill into center if they end up, giving into the speculation and trading Lars Eller. Again, at the moment, probably just want to see what he could do for the full season.
Yeah. But I don't know about full season, but you're not going to trade him until you see what your team is looking like in January.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The speculation won't really pick up until all the trade speculation does.
Yeah.
This point, October, November, there's nothing. Maybe you'll hear whispers of players unhappy in their situation by December, but
yeah, if Edmonton continues to look like Edmonton looks, then you can start looking at trades for them to where that's going to provide a spark. But most teams, you got to wait till Christmas till you actually see trade speculation ramp up.
Yeah, for sure. But regardless, it's always important to keep notes of who could be in that conversation. Heck, we've talked about Jari already. It's in the same sort of situation in this episode. Lars Eller can be added to that list, and then names will filter from there, and that'll happen across the league. So it's an exciting year for the Penguins if they can have a bottom six that rolls, and maybe there's hockey trades to be made.
Yeah, there's a reason that we started this out, though, with early returns. We're not simply saying that Kyle Dubas hit a home run. We're saying, all right, it looks like he's seeing the ball out of the hand well, right? It looks like he certainly set the Penguins up for success. Early returns are good. How does that continue? And hopefully it continues well. I feel like it looks like it's sustainable, but again, players go on goalless droughts. And if the right player goes on the goalless drought at the right time, it could bring down an entire unit. But as of right now, first 4 games in, that has been a success for the Pittsburgh Penguins.